Hi, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeremy, and we are Sparka Youth.
So this week we're going to be continuing our series on following Joel Holmes' Follow 52. First, let's discuss last week's challenge. Last week you're supposed to give 10% of your income back to Christ, or to your local church. So Jeremy, how did you do your challenge?
So for my challenge, I decided that I would choose some of what I have been saving, and I would deposit it into the bank. And when I deposit it into the bank, I give 10% of it as a tithe, and I told my dad to give it to the church.
Well, for me, since I don't make any income like you, I also have to give 10%. However, I gave 10% of my time, and I gave it to a fellow church member who's going away soon, and he helped me really develop in worshiping and playing music, so I wanted to help him out too. So now let's talk about this week's lesson.
Our main verse for this week's lesson is Matthew 6:3. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing.
This command seems impossible to follow. How do you give without knowing that you're giving? Well, even though this is a hyperbolic command, it's still one of Jesus' teachings. Basically, what he's saying to do is to be absent. You have to be absent of your pride, your ability, and your reward at the end of giving. The only reason you're able to give is because God has provided to you, so give with Him in your mind.
God wants to give this command because He wants to protect you. When you give, sometimes you put yourself in the center. When you give, like let's say, you see yourself as a hero because you give to people in need. But then when you don't give, you see yourself as a villain. Well, that should not be the case, because you should be giving because of God, not because of yourself.
So when you're giving, you're neither a hero nor a victim. You're just a follower of Christ that realizes that all you have is provided by Him.
Now we have some additional verses. The first additional verse is Ecclesiastes 5:10. He who loves money will not be satisfied with money, nor he who loves wealth with his income. This also is vanity.
And the next one will be Hebrews 13:5. Keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have, because God has said, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you.
An additional verse is 1 Timothy 6:10. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Some people eager for money have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs.
And lastly, we have 1 Corinthians 16:1-2. Now about the collection for the Lord's people. Do what I told the Galatian churches to do. On the first of every week, each one of you should set aside a sum of money in keeping with your income, saving it up so that when I come, no collections will have to be made. So of course, with all these teachings, there's also a challenge for this week. This week's challenge is to give quietly, selflessly, and anonymously with gratitude. When you give, you should put God at the center of giving instead of yourself. Make sure to Instagram us the results and your experiences that you have with your giving at Sparka Youth, and that's it we have for this week. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.